Welcome to Dark and Haunting Tales. Do you believe in the power of the Ouija board? Many people have had mystifying encounters while using this infamous tool of communication with the spirit world. Today, we'll uncover dark secrets and the spine-chilling stories and encounters that will fuel your nightmares. Are you ready to be terrified? Well, let's begin. I'll never forget the terrifying experience my friends and I had when we decided to play a mysterious ancient board game, the Demon's Game. It all started one rainy evening when we were looking for something fun to do. We have heard about this strange board game from a collector of rare artifacts. It was said to be cursed, a portal to a demon's realm. But we didn't take it seriously. Curiosity got the better of us, and we decided to give it a try. The board was old and covered in strange symbols, and the game pieces were intricately carved with eerie faces. As we began to play, the atmosphere in the room changed. The air grew cold, and the candles flickered ominously. As the game progressed, we felt a growing sense of unease. Strange things started happening. The room darkened, and the temperature dropped dramatically. It was as if the game was taking on a life of its own. Then, the unthinkable happened. The game board began to glow with an eerie crimson light, and a swirling vortex appeared on its surface. We watched in horror as a monstrous, horned creature emerged from the portal. It was a demon, and it fixed its malevolent gaze upon us. Panic swept through our group as we realized the gravity of our situation. The demon spoke in a guttural, ominous voice, informing us that we had unwittingly opened a portal to its realm, and it intended to claim our souls. We pleaded with the demon, begging for our lives, but it seemed immune to our pleas. It declared that we would have to outsmart it in a series of deadly challenges if we hoped to escape its clutches. The challenges were grueling and nightmarish. We faced riddles that tested our wits, puzzles that pushed our sanity to the brink, and physical trials that left us bruised and exhausted. The demon's sinister laughter echoed in our ears as it revealed in our torment. Hours turned into days, and we grew weaker with each challenge, but we refused to give in to despair. With determination and teamwork, we managed to solve the demon's puzzles and riddles, inching closer to our freedom. Finally, we faced the ultimate challenge, a game of strategy and cunning that would determine our fate. It was a high-stakes battle of wits, the demon using its dark powers to manipulate the game board. As the game reached its climax, we saw an opportunity to outmaneuver the demon. With a daring move, we trapped it in a corner of the board, leaving it with no options. The demon roared in frustration as it realized it had been defeated. In a blinding flash of light, the demon was sucked back into the game board, and the portal closed. We were free, but we were forever changed by the ordeal we had endured. We had played with an ancient board game and faced the sinister forces of a demon's realm. Through courage, intelligence, and teamwork, we had outsmarted the malevolent creature and escaped with our lives. But the memory of the fateful game would forever haunt our nightmares, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can be unleashed when we tamper with the unknown. This chilling story begins with a group of my closest friends gathering at my old Crete Chiari for a night of supernatural curiosity. We had all heard the rumors about Ouija boards, how they could connect us to the spirit world, providing answers to our deepest questions. Little did we know that this innocent quest for the unknown would turn into a terrifying survival story. It was a moonless night, the darkness outside making our attic hideaway feel even more ominous. I placed the Ouija board on a wooden table, its surface worn and etched with the years of use. The anticipation in the room was palpable as we all gathered around, hands trembling with excitement and a touch of fear. My friend, Gina, was the most enthusiastic about making contact. She urged us all to place our fingers gently on the planchette, which rested on the board's letters and numbers. As our fingertips touched the smooth surface, we shared nervous glances, wondering if anything would happen at all.
Is there any spirits here with us?
Gina asked, her voice quivering. For a moment, nothing happened. The attic was silent as the grave. But then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, the planchette began to move. It glided across the board, spelling out words letter by letter. Warning. We stared at each other, our hearts pounding. A warning? From who or what?
Who is giving us this warning?
Mark, one of our friends, asked, his voice trembling. The planchette continues to move, spelling out a name that sent chills down our spine. Zozo. Gina's face turned pale, and she gasped.
Zozo, with Dina?
I could hardly believe it. Zozo was infamous in the world of the paranormal, known for its malevolent and deceitful nature. Panic swept through the room as we realized the gravity of the situation.
What do we do?
Lily, another friend, whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Desperation filled the air as we tried to end the session, but the planchette refused to move to goodbye. It was as if we were trapped in a sinister game with a malevolent force. As seconds turned into minutes, we could feel an oppressive presence in the room, a malevolence that seemed to suffocate us. Gina, her voice shaking, shouted,
We have to break the connection!
With all our strength, we pushed the planchette forcefully to goodbye, ending the session, but the atmosphere in the attic remained charged with unease, as if something had been unleashed. In the weeks that followed, strange occurrences plagued us, objects moving on their own, whispers in the dark, and unsettling nightmares. We had unwittingly invited an evil entity into our lives. Our quest for answers from the unknown had turned into a terrifying battle of survival. We sought the help of paranormal experts, who guided us through a cleansing ritual to banish the malevolent force. Slowly, the nightmares ceased, and the oppressive presence lifted. But the memory of that night and the chilling message from Zozo would forever haunt us. A reminder that sometimes seeking answers from the supernatural world can come with a terrifying price. In a spine-tingling encounter that will forever haunt me, I decided to venture alone into a notorious haunted house, armed with nothing but a Ouija board and a burning curiosity to communicate with the spirits. Little did I know that this solo expedition would turn into a terrifying survival story. The haunted house was an imposing structure, its decaying exterior shrouded in legends of ghostly apparitions and malevolent entities. The sun had set, casting eerie shadow across the overgrown garden. As I nervously approached the front door, I had brought the Ouija board as my only connection to the unknown, determined to seek answers that had eluded me for a long time. I pushed open the creaking door, its rusty hinges protesting the intrusion. The air inside was heavy, with an otherworldly presence, and the darkness seemed to seep into my very bones. I placed the Ouija board on a dusty table in the center of a dimly lit room, and hesitantly took a seat, my fingers trembling as I touched the planchette. With a deep breath, I began the session. "Is there anyone here with me?" I whispered, my voice barely audible in the silence. For a moment, nothing happened. The room remained deathly still. Doubt began to creep in, and I questioned the wisdom of this endeavor. But just as I was about to give up, the planchette began to move on its own. It slid across the board, spelling out letters one by one. Malachi. My heart raced as the name formed before me, Malachi, a name I had never heard before. I couldn't fathom who or what I had made contact with. Who are you, Malachi?" I stammered, my fear growing. The planchette continued to move, revealing a harrowing tale of a soul trapped in a limbo between the living and the dead. Malachi had met a tragic end within these very walls, and his restless spirit longed for release. As the session continued, the atmosphere in the room grew colder, and I could feel an invisible presence closing in on me. Shadows danced along the walls, and strange noises echoed through the haunted house. It was as if the spirit of Malachi had stirred up a malevolent energy. Terrifying paranormal activity followed. The lights flickered, objects moved on their own, and a chilling breeze seemed to carry whispers from beyond the grave. Panic welled up inside me as I realized that I had awakened something far more sinister than I had ever imagined. Desperation took hold, and I tried to end the session, but the planchette refused to move to goodbye. It was as if Malachi had a grip on me, refusing to let go. Hours felt like an eternity as I grappled with the malevolent forces that had been unleashed. It was a terrifying battle between the living and the dead, and I felt like an intruder in a realm beyond my comprehension. Finally, with sheer determination, I managed to break the connection. The planchette moved to goodbye, and the paranormal activity ceased. I left the haunted house, shaken to my core, with a newfound respect for the supernatural. That night, I learned the chilling lesson that some doors should never be opened, and some mysteries should remain buried. My survival story in that haunted house was a reminder that the line between the living and the dead is fragile, and delving into the unknown can come with a terrifying price. Thank you guys for joining us on these terrifying stories. If you enjoyed the video and want to experience more bone-chilling stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and turn on post notification. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.